Okay, well this is the following day. I've removed the rust from the blade using Autosol polish. It's important not to leave the rust on, brown rust, for any length of time. And hopefully you can see, whilst it's not a mirror finish, this now has quite a shine on it. The edge is quite smooth and it's quite sharp. I know it's quite sharp because the edge is invisible when you look at it head on, or almost invisible. There is a slight burr, won't show up on this camera, but hopefully you can see this is now quite shiny and smooth. This reduces friction, polishing the edge, plus I've been working on the actual edge itself to turn it from what's effectively quite a coarse sawtooth into a finer and finer sawtooth. And now I'm going to go to the final stone, which is totally unnecessary for this kind of blade, but this is just for the sheer mischief of it, which is the 10,000 grit Japanese waterstone. It's a nice burr. It's already flattened. Diamond stone cut my thumb. Never had that before. So I'm going to use this stone. Now this is, you put some water on. It doesn't take much water, and then they recommend creating a slurry with a Nagura stone, and just rub it on the surface. This also helps to dress the stone, the sharpening stone as well. Helps to keep it smooth. So you rub. It's difficult to do with one hand, but you rub it to create a slurry, and that improves the sharpening process. It's not absolutely necessary. Certainly a blade of this weight is going to very quickly create its own slurry. So I'm going to use the 10,000 to put as close as I can get to a mirror finish on this edge, and also to refine the very cutting edge. I've drawn a diagram. Yeah. So this is how the blade started off, with a very obtuse bevel. And then the blade was reprofiled. You get to this point, which is pretty much where it is now. This is very sharp cutting edge, but when the edge is as thin as this, it has very little durability. If it's going to be razor sharp, then it's going to have a similar durability to a razor blade. It won't stand any punishment at all. Now what I'm going to do as well with the 10,000 size, I'm going to put a micro bevel on. I'm going to use a slightly steeper angle, a slightly more obtuse angle at the end. So effectively you get a primary bevel and then a steeper secondary bevel. And this process, you can vary the angles to make a much more durable edge. So the edge that I'm going to end up with on this blade, I mean, I'll get it razor sharp hopefully. But then it's a fairly trivial matter, once it's been reprofiled like this, it's a fairly trivial matter to put a more obtuse angle on it to make it more durable, but of course less sharp. And the trick is trying to get the optimum of high durability and very high sharpness. And there's all sorts of tutorials and processes to obtain this kind of thing. Now I might at the end of this also strop it, but I'm gonna see what kind of edge it gets. So I'm not going to demonstrate using it actually on the stone because I need to be careful, and it's just the same procedure as was used previously, except to be very, very gentle, for two reasons. One, this is a polishing procedure, so no point in using excessive pressure, and also because this blade is heavy and this stone is expensive, so I don't want to wreck it, and it's easy to wreck a stone like that. If you go in too steep or too much pressure, you'll gouge a big piece out of the stone and you'll end up having to flatten maybe a couple of millimetres out of the stone to get it serviceable again. So I'm going to be very careful with this. So yeah, hopefully when this is complete, there will be even more of a mirror finish. And I'll hold this up so you can see it now. It should be stressed again, this is just an exercise. You wouldn't get a blade like this razor sharp for any other reason than just for the sake of doing it. Okay, well, see what happens.